everybody, this is your favorite homeboy, and I'm here in Stowe, Vermont with Autumn, and we're going to be going over really quickly just a couple of plans that we have for next year for our vacation rentals. It's always a good idea if you have vacation rentals to just take some time out with your business partner, with your spouse, whoever it is that's helping you with the short-term rental, and think about some highlights, some things you can improve on from the current year's business, and come up with some goals for next year. So that's what we did about a week ago, right?
Yep.
And what are some things we kind of noticed this year in our business?
This year in our business, I think that we noticed that one of the houses was not performing as well. We weren't getting as many bookings as we were last year for the house, it seems. So I think one strategy that we came up with was we're going to try one of those softwares that help you with pricing, like Wheelhouse or Pricing Labs or Beyond Pricing, whatever those things are. So yeah, we're gonna give that a try for a year and see if maybe it'll help to increase our revenues, because that's what they promised. They promised that it could increase it up to like 40%. So we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, the good news is we did do a baseline performance on us managing it ourselves, so we will notice if there's an improvement or not, and that's a good idea. Is before you start buying all this technology and trying all these things, establish a baseline with your business first so that you can actually see if there's an improvement or not. So it's not like we didn't know about these pricing models, it's just that we wanted to try it ourselves. And so now we should see a difference. Hopefully we should see a difference. And it's only like $20 a month for some of these plans, which is very well worth it. So you can just automate it and not have to worry about it. So before we go any further, give us a thumbs up if this is something you like, this is the content you like. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get more content like this. It really does help us to know what type of content to put out for you. So now the next thing we want to talk about is one of our homes, the Khaki Campbell. We also noticed one thing different about that is that not only did we feel that overall our revenues were a little bit lower this year, but that home in particular had less bookings, right? We tried a variety of things. We tried to put in an espresso machine, we put in an EV outlet, we put that on all three of our homes actually.
Well, two.
Oh, just two of them?
Yeah, two.
Okay. And we haven't really noticed anything too amazing about that. I think it all comes back to the tried and true game room, right?
Yeah.
Game rooms, I think, are probably the best investments you can make, because when a guest sees that game room, they see, bedrooms are all kind of the same, living room, kitchens. But when they see a game room and it's got a lot of fun things to do for their kids, that actually, we've gotten a lot of feedback that says, oh, we rented your home because of the game room specifically. Or the volleyball court, we have a sand volleyball court too, but that's kind of hard to replicate.
Yeah, it's just stuff that they don't have at home, that they don't have access to at home. So when they go to a vacation home, they want that. So for the Khaki Campbell, that's a little difficult because there's a lot of space inside the home. It's a pretty small, cozy home, and there's not two huge living areas like we do at our other two homes. So for that one, we asked our friends, and you can let us know as well, but they mentioned that a pool table was something that they really look forward to when they go and book a place for a vacation home. And we don't have a pool table at this home, where we have a pool table at the other two homes, and they're doing well. So maybe that's the missing link. It may not be a huge game room that we have at the Khaki Campbell. We've tried different things. We have a lot of games in that room, almost too many, I think, because it's kind of congested. But maybe if we take some of that old stuff out and put in that pool table, maybe that'll do the trick. So we'll see. Yeah.
And if you have one of the smaller homes, because our homes are on the larger side, we still have a space problem for a large game room, but if you have one of the smaller homes, focus on one nice amenity, like maybe it's the pool table, and then have some arcades that are small that you can stick in corners around the house or in that game room. And I think you can still have a really fun space.
Yeah.
We're
hoping.
Yeah, and the other thing we did too, to get ideas, is we had our friends stay at our house, and then we asked them for feedback. We had one of our other friends who is an interior designer. She stayed at our house. We kind of borrowed some services with her. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments below, and I can give you her contact information as well. To help, and she's helped us virtually on some of our homes too, so she doesn't even have to go to the property. She can see photos and help you virtually on your home. So we're going to implement some of those interior design ideas to maybe make our photos a little bit more appealing as well.
Yeah.
What were some other thoughts that we had for this year that we thought we could try to work on next year?
I think we're going to be doing some landscaping improvements to some of the homes, like for the Berkshire. That's probably going to be our biggest landscape project. We're trying to get rid of that eyesore of a pond that's kind of on the side of our
not just
house.
eyesore too, but liability.
Yeah,
let's get rid of that liability.
Looking pretty bad, and so we want to just get rid of that completely. Move our fire pit from the grassy area that's kind of closer to the neighbors to the other side where there's no neighbor there, and then the guests can feel free to be out there for as long as they want and they won't disturb the neighbors. We want to also build out the driveway so that there's parking and it's easier for them to turn around, because right now it's a little difficult to kind of back in and back out of the Berkshire. It's a pretty long driveway. So those are the improvements that's coming for 2022 at the Berkshire. For the Great Pyrenees, we're going to do a little bit of landscaping stuff. We already did some this past year because we just couldn't wait anymore. But
we got rid of the pond there as well.
We did. Yeah. We got rid of the pond. We added more sand to the volleyball court. Redid the borders. And for next year, we just want to make it a little bit more appealing, the curb appeal. Because right now we've got kind of planters in the front where the parking is, but there's no plants there. There's no flowers. So we might invest in some easy maintenance plants with our landscaper and see if we can put something there. We had several big projects this year for the Great Pyrenees, actually. The first one was the wheelchair accessible ramp that's on the side. We're still waiting to see whether that's really going to pan out or not in terms of more bookings and things. We've had a couple of people say, hey, I'm so glad you're thinking of handicap, the handicap demographic, the people, because they're sometimes forgotten, like they can't get access to the house. And we want them to have access to our awesome house. But we really haven't seen a whole lot of people booking because of that. We also remodeled 2 of our bathrooms, and that's still underway.
Yeah, I think, so, the takeaway there is one of the focuses for our homes and a focus for your home should be, how do you remove liability? And so a pond is a liability. It takes maintenance, and, it's like a swimming pool with none of the benefits. Someone can drown, small kids can drown in it, but you can't swim in it. So it really doesn't provide a lot of benefit. And so we are getting rid of our final pond on one of our homes. The bathrooms that Autumn talked about at the Great Pyrenees, that's an ongoing project. We ran into a lot of problems there just because of the poor vendor quality that we run into in our market, which is the Poconos. And you may have the same challenge. Give me a thumbs up if you have poor vendor quality, if you run into have problems with finding good vendors. Give me a thumbs up. I think we should have about 1,000 thumbs ups because of that, 1,000 likes, because finding good vendors is very tough. And that's one of our goals for next year as well, is having redundant vendors. So not being satisfied with just a vendor that we're using, even if they're doing a good job, but try to find at least a backup vendor or an alternate vendor so that you can keep 2 vendors somewhat busy. That way, as your business grows or as one vendor maybe becomes unavailable, your business doesn't suffer. So it's really important to do that. Never stop looking for vendors. One of my goals for next year is, as I'm building this network of subscribers and individuals who are interested in the Poconos because of this channel, one of my goals I would love to do is to kind of get us together in a big round table and say, hey, who are our good vendors? Who are our top tier vendors? And maybe share vendors and leverage the buying and the purchasing power of our network. So comment below if that's an idea that you like or you'd be interested in, and maybe we can connect about that next year. Okay, just a couple other things that we were also planning for next year. One is, the thought of how do we automate this some more, kind of go along with automating the pricing, but on a bigger scale is how do we, automate it such that Autumn doesn't have to spend as much time in the business. And so a lot of times you get called up in situations where a guest has a complaint, right? And you're getting pulled into the mix and you have to kind of figure out what's the best solution. So one of the ideas we came up with was how to give more power to the guest coordinator so they can handle it, right?
Yeah, we thought about maybe coming up with some standardized pricing in terms of like compensation for guests that have certain issues, cleaning issues, whatever issues that come up, and just empowering our guest coordinators to here's the set amount, this is the cap, you're able to make a decision up to this amount, and then if it exceeds that amount, then that's when you reach out. So that way, maybe it creates a little bit more of a buffer so that I'm not pulled in so early on in the process, and they can be a little bit more independent. We also wanted, like, right now, I guess I'm kind of like looking, our cleaners do an awesome job and they send us pictures, and so I'm looking at the pictures, and if I see something, I'll ask them about it. But I really would like for them to step up to the plate and take the initiative and say, hey, I think this needs a deep clean, and then just kind of let us know, and we give him a thumbs up, and he just does it without me having to ask him. So that'll help kind of take me out of the mix a little bit too, once we get our vendors and our guest coordinators up to speed with that.
Yeah, so in summary, 2022, we're going to focus on growing our team by getting redundant vendors. We're going to empower the team so that it's going to be less involvement for us. They're going to be more empowered to handle issues. Using the cleaning example, instead of saying, here's a 50-point checklist on what we want you to do, instead of basing our standard off a checklist, which we do have certain items that they need to check, but we're also going to give them a standard of, we want this home to be clean as though nobody's ever been here before. So when you have a standard like that, then they can start looking for things that even aren't on the checklist and not having to involve you. They'll be like, oh, this thing is here, but this doesn't meet the criteria of nobody ever being here. So let me take care of that. So we're going to empower our team, and then we're going to focus on the 500-pound gorilla in every house, which is the game room. We're going to focus on the game room on the Khaki Campbell to hopefully increase the bookings for that one laggard of our portfolio, and also automate the pricing to see if that will help all the homes in our portfolio do better as well. So we hope you like the content. Our goals for next year. If you have any questions or any comments or any suggestions, please put that in the comments below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel. This is your favorite homeboy, signing out.